Hi, I'm Georgianne Bender.
And I'm Rich KIZER.
And we're bringing you the next segment in Generation Speak that we promised to bring you. And in this segment, we're going to focus on the youngest generations, Generation Z and the Millennials.
You know, one thing we want you to remember, though, as we talk on these subsequent programs about the snippets of the generations, we want you to remember this. It's an old Chinese proverb, actually. It says, people resemble their times more than their parents. And when we talk about any generation, we talk about their childhood and what really formed them, and they carry those same values throughout the rest of their life. So when we start, we're talking about Generation Z, and people say, you know, I don't understand these children. Well, there's probably a reason, is they weren't raised in the same time and same influence.
Yeah, I'm grateful to understand, though, that people resemble their times more than their parents, because that explains a whole lot of what my kids do.
Yes.
I mean, I go back to that all the time. So the two youngest generations are Generation Z, and they are kids who are 9 years old to haven't even been born yet. Generation Z, or the Zeds, are going to teach us all kinds of things about technology that the rest of us haven't even seen, and it's going to make our heads spin.
It's coming.
They are part of a group called KGOY, or Kids Getting Older Younger. A 10-year-old today is not the same as a 10-year-old was when Gen Xers were 10 or when baby boomers were 10, because they're just different. They've been exposed to so many different things. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on Generation Z because there's really not a lot to know about them yet, but we should talk about the Millennials. The Millennials were born between 1982 and 2000. The oldest are 28, they're married, they're out of college, they're having children of their own and starting careers, and the youngest are 10. They're the kids of baby boomers and older Gen Xers. They were born into high-tech times. They are the most cherished, beloved, wanted children ever in the history of our planet. And the one thing that you need to know about millennials, when you're trying to sell or market to them, is that they have never been told no. Mommy and daddy and teachers and coaches give them do-overs. They're beloved, they're cherished. So their opinion was always incredibly important. There are 73 million millennials, and they are changing the way we do business.
And we call them the influencers. In business, the influencers. You know, it's amazing how you can look at the car ads, and they influenced the way the children want the car to be, the stereo systems, how the children want to sit in them, and those car companies actually go after them. And we see retailers on the street influenced by the fact that they're focused only on that generational segment, and we can walk into some of their stores, and quite frankly, like you say, George, it makes your
ears bleed.
You know, the music is so loud, but that's who that generation is. And so when we're doing business with them, we've got to understand that the same size shoe doesn't fit everybody else. When we're dealing with a millennial, there's certain aspects that millennials demand, and one of them obviously is very much of a high-tech environment.
I love millennials because mine are keeping me young, and they do. They're very catered to by retailers. There are tons of stores that are important just for that age group, and they know it. They were digital in diapers. Their world goes 24/7. They do not know a world without computers, the internet, and now without the iPhone. We saw a 5-year-old in the airport the other day with his own iPhone. Not an iPod, iPhone, the kid's making phone calls. Here's the thing. They like to communicate in short bursts. Sound bites. So, yeah, you couldn't get over that because you had a better phone than you. Here's the thing. If you think that you're going to send out a long message, a long letter, or all kinds of information on your website, it's not going to work because they like shorter bursts. They like sound bites.
They do, and you know what? Email to this generation is becoming passé. I mean, it's just really not that important of a deal. If you remember way back, a number of years ago now at Virginia Tech, they had that horrible shooting, and Virginia Tech apparently emailed a lot of students and said, whatever you do, don't come to the campus. They still came. And now schools, universities are not asking for emails anymore. They're asking for text numbers so they can text message to students because they know that text messaging is their mode of communication.
Yeah.
And you know, we think about that high-tech kind of thing. We were in a company. The owner of the company couldn't get his son to return his emails, couldn't return his voicemails. Finally, Georgianne said, give me your phone, and she sent his son a text message, and within 30 seconds, his son responded.
Bing.
That's the lesson of this generation.
Yep, they're all about technology. They're an instant gratification generation. They like instant reaction. They demand answers, and they demand them now. But why not? Because they grew up playing on websites that were very interactive, Webkins and Teen Life and things like that, video games where everything was right back to them. As quickly as they put it in, it came back. And they demand that we keep up with them. So that means that our websites have to be interactive, and there has to be things on there for us to look at and play and encourage us to stay longer, because that's how this generation grew up. And truthfully, it's helping the rest of us stay more connected to.
You know, they demand that we keep up with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
They demand it. And I just got to share with you because I remembered a student telling us this, and subsequently we've done it. They text each other, even in the classroom. And the texts don't make any noise because they turn the sound off. But there is a mosquito tone that they can download on their phone. And if you go to that site on the internet, mosquitotone.com, I guess it is, you can see how young ears can hear a tone where anyone over the age of 23 or 24 can't hear it. So teachers completely oblivious to the fact that these kids are communicating without any tones whatsoever.
They got it going on. They know
Yes, they do.
exactly what to do. They have MTV attention spans. Everything is fast and furious. And if you look at television shows and cuts in movies, they're brilliant. Brilliant kids, and they're completely going to change our world. They have a pack mentality.
They do. You know, it's amazing that Georgianne and I were going out to dinner when we were on the road one night last May, and a whole group of these young people came into the restaurant, and they were dressed to the aces, and we walked up and said, "What's going on?" And they said, "Well, it's prom night." And our question was, who's going with who? And they all looked at us and said, "Well, we're all going together." They don't have dates like we used to have. You know, you go out with your boyfriend or girlfriend and you go to the prom together. They go in a pack. That pack mentality, though, has a tremendous influence on the way they think, the way they act, the way they buy. And if we can find anchors within the pack, somebody that thinks it's cool within the pack, it'll ripple through the entire pack. It's cool for everybody. We remember that a pack mentality is real high on word of mouth. They'll talk about other businesses that they love just as much as they'll communicate about other businesses they don't like.
Yeah, but their word of mouth is now world of mouth because they get online on Facebook and texting each other, and they tell the entire world. So, what we recommend that you do is understand how these kids think and how they shop. For example, they assume they're going to get great service because everybody's catered to them from the time that they were little. I'll never forget the day we found a blog. These little girls, 12-year-old girls, talking about shopping at a Louis Vuitton store, and they were saying things to each other like, when you go into that store, understand that those people are there to serve you. And make sure that you get proper service and that they take care of you. And one little girl who wasn't quite so clued in said, "Well, what do I do if, I can't get their attention?" And another one typed in, "Well, here's what you need to do. Whip out your Louis Vuitton wallet or show them your expensive watch or something that's of high value that they will understand. But for heaven forbid, do not show them your fake Louis Vuitton." So, they are very entitled kids. They want choice. Look at the stores that they've had since they were little kids. Limited Too, Abercrombie, Hollister, American Eagle, Air Postal, all those different stores. So they've had a lot of choice. They want to continue to have choice. And here's the big thing. If you sell something for children and mom and dad are in the store, if the child asks a question, talk to the kid.
Absolutely.
You can do the best sales pitch and have the best product and a great price, but if that kid's snubbed, they're going to influence, as Rich said, they're the influencers where mommy and daddy shop. So here's what we recommend. That you enter their world, that you look at their websites, that you look at their movies, that you go on MTV and watch the television shows that are on there to try and attract them.
It's an assignment.
Yes, it is. Listen to their music, top 40. Absolutely enter their world so you understand millennial things.
And you know what? If you don't have them on staff and you're trying to get into this digital environment, get some of them in the business and have them give you the answers. They have the answers on how to take a business up into that new realm.
They'll make you better business people.
They will.
And if you want more information, drop us an email at info@KIZERandBENDER.com or visit us online at KIZERandBENDER.com for more information. I'm Georgianne.
I'm Rich.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Take care.